Hey Townies, my name's Philip and you're watching the Mountain City Show. Hey, if you could, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. And don't forget to click the bell.
The bell?
Yeah.
What's the bell?
Bell notifies them every time we have a new video. So make sure you click the bell.
It's free, costs you nothing. Thanks, everybody. Fursana.
It's a fursana.
It's furries.
What?
Persona. I don't know. Having a fursana doesn't mean a furry owns a fursuit.
All right, so today we're going to talk about, it's freaking unbelievable. We're going to talk about furry culture. So for those of you who don't know what furry culture is, because I am one of those people who didn't know what furry culture was, I went to the mall yesterday, actually, and I was with my girlfriend, and this girl came out of a store with a big, long tail. And I've never seen anyone with the tail unless it's like around Halloween. So I asked her. She said, "Oh, my God, I've never seen anybody like that. Never seen anyone like that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "It's a real thing." And I went, "What's a real thing?" She went, "Furry culture." I went, "Furry culture?" Yeah. So let me show you this here, Sharon. I got to show you this picture because it just blows my mind. So here is this girl that we were in the mall, and let's see if I can get it. There it is. Take a look at that. Ain't that something? Look at that right there.
What?
Let me move it a little bit more. See the big tail?
I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. I have no idea.
It's like co-play.
Cosplay?
Yes, cosplay.
Co-play? Co-players?
It's been one of those mornings.
No, so I still can't believe this. Look at the size of this tail. And this girl's walking around the freaking mall, right, with that tail.
I don't know how I feel about that.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, who does this? Like, what? Where's the parents? Where's the parents? So here's a great question, right? This is a good question. What would you do if your daughter came home and said, "Mom, I need a tail"? I'd be like, "What do you mean you need a tail? You need a tail for what?" I mean, what would you say? What would you tell your daughter if she came home? She's in 9th, 10th grade. She wants a tail.
Well, I'd say for what?
Right?
And what do you mean a tail? That would be my first two questions. What do you mean a tail? And for what?
Yeah,
you
right?
have some kind of costume thing you're doing at school?
You're right.
That would be my third question.
Right? So here's what we got. I got this right here. It says, tails are a clothing accessory worn by those who identify with furry culture.
Yes, and furry culture is, they don't identify themselves as animals. They identify themselves with animals. Like animals having humanistic traits.
Oh, so they're giving emotions and feelings to
Like
animals.
half animal, half human. That's, I don't know how else. How else would you describe it?
They're like,
this is the dumbest thing.
This is so
I
stupid.
can't even believe we're having to deal with this in our culture.
No.
I mean, literally. I mean, I can understand little kids. When I was a little kid,
Yeah,
I used to run around
dress
pretend
up.
I was Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Charlie's
remember.
Angels.
Yep.
Going around with the
When we were kids.
like this and
Yep.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Pew,
For those of you who
pew,
don't
pew,
know,
pew.
first of all, we are brother and sister.
So, I mean, you know, for little kids to do that stuff, yeah, but, I mean, we're talking teenagers. Get real.
Yeah. Like, I don't
If
get
my
it.
kids came home like that, I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Mom, can I get a fuzzy? I need a furry tail. What is it? Dress up day at school? Is it dress up day?
I'd be like, get over it.
No, I'm gonna. Imagine I'm not taking you. Here's a great
No,
example.
you pull up to the school for your kid to get out, and you make a whole scene of it.
Yeah.
Meow, meow, meow. Have a good day. Meow, meow, meow,
Meow, meow, meow,
I
meow.
would really. Listen, if my kid did that, I would torture the shit out of him.
Remember that song? What did the fox say? You
know,
remember that?
I remember my dad doing that to me.
Oh, yeah.
Dropping me off, you know, and you're trying to be cool.
Cool.
All the older kids are out there at
Yeah.
the Coke machines waiting for the bell to
Yeah.
Bye, Sherwood!
That's what he would
Bye,
do.
Sherwood!
Have a good day.
He did it all the fucking
He did.
time.
You got your lunch money.
So, yeah, if my kid dressed up like a furry,
Yeah.
I would do that.
I would say, here's a, like, if Noah goes, Dad, I need a tail. I'd be like, son, what gets you a tail? No problem. You want to wear that to school? You go right ahead. But if you want to go anywhere with me, you are not wearing a tail.
Well, they don't want to go with you.
No,
You're
they
the
don't.
parent.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's our job to, we're entitled. We get to, harass them in a fun way and whatever. That can be enough torture right there that they never wear a tail again.
I have never seen anything like it before in my life. I could not believe that someone was wearing a tail as a statement of like, it's not like a PETA thing, right? Like,
I mean, do kids know what culture is? Because,
yeah, I don't think.
this isn't culture.
I don't know what is some.
Who even put that under the category of culture?
I don't know.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's like.
You're playing make-believe. Okay?
Yeah.
Get in the real world.
It's like Dungeons and
We
Dragons.
need to limit these kids' time on games and social media.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
maybe
their
they got it
minds
from
aren't
some of that.
mature enough for all of this. They can't handle it. They cannot distinguish what's real and what isn't.
Maybe they got it from Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean, they're trying to bring this stuff into reality. It's like, come on. We're failing as parents.
yes, we are failing as parents. If your kids are walking around high school with tails, there's an issue with that.
I mean, come on. I'm from Gen X, so,
Me too.
There's no nonsense with us.
No, we're just straight to the point.
Yeah.
That's just how we are.
I mean, we all had to fend for our own Gen X growing up.
We did.
So, I mean,
Nobody gave a shit.
I don't know why, these kids are so messed up because, I was strict with my kids.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were.
But in a
Not
good
too
way.
bad.
In a good way.
Yeah, you were.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, you don't want to upset little Johnny.
I can't hurt-
emotions.
Yeah, I can't hurt his feelings. Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. He might cry. Oh, no. No, don't cry. Please. What do you want? Come on, people. Be a parent.
And then they're catering to this?
Yeah, be a parent.
No.
You got to be a parent, man.
We're human beings. You're not a fucking cat.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right?
You're not a dog. You're not a cat. And you're definitely not a hamster.
So here's the thing, right? Maybe
not happening.
Maybe it's our generation was so neglected that we just say maybe the generation now with these kids. 'cause
Maybe
they're probably,
that's... I know where you're going.
you know what I mean? So maybe they're just saying, okay, thinking, hey, that's what you're supposed to do, where no, because they don't want it to be like us, because nobody parented us. We parented it ourselves. You parented me when we were little.
Well, maybe that's what we've done. Maybe we've not had the hand on them. I don't know. Maybe because social media and all this that's in play now, which we didn't have,
Yeah.
is now, if our kids, we are leaving them alone to do things on their own, they're turning to this, they're growing up on social media and these video games
Yes.
in a way that we didn't have that.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe that hasn't, maybe we're still trying to give them independence, but they're doing these things instead, and it's just screwing with their heads.
Yeah, because their options are what they're growing up with is
literally,
different.
if scientists, hasn't anybody studied this to see are minds mature enough for this stuff? I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So then why isn't there a limit on that?
Yeah, I think there should be a limit on that, to be honest with you.
Why are we allowing, kindergartens to have cell phones, kindergartners?
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed. I mean, they can't even write. Well, even if they can
I'm
write.
scared. What if something happens in the school?
Yeah, okay.
Well, you know what? We never had that before. I don't know. Maybe we need to study the old way of doing things because it seemed to work back then.
Yeah, it did. It worked real well. It did.
I mean, our principals had paddles on the wall.
Yeah.
There was no nonsense back then.
Well, that's why they wear tails.
And if you're crying, well, you're supposed to cry. You just got yelled at,
Yeah.
Instead of, I don't want to hurt their, well, too bad.
Well, yeah, right? I'm sorry, but at some point, someone in your life you're going to have your feelings hurt multiple times.
Yes.
Multiple times. So and here's a great thing, is when your feelings are hurt, that's a great time as a parent to teach them how to deal with those emotions.
Yes. And understand why they're being
Yes. Like, look, how do you feel?
disciplined.
Right? How do you feel right now?
The key important thing is always when you're disciplining to say why, so they understand that you're not just harping on them and yelling at them and whatever, but why? you're
Yeah.
telling them these things, or why they're being grounded or whatever.
I agree with that.
Choose to do, but I think none of that happens anymore. I think the parents are so busy working and running their kids to sports and whatever, and just trying to keep up with the household that
They just say
they don't even have time to raise kids. I mean, look at our parents didn't have time, and we didn't even have all that shit back then.
No, they didn't.
And we have
time.
now. And
Yeah.
we grew up with our parents at work. I mean,
We did.
you know, what was it, first grade, kindergarten? You're lighting fires in the
Yeah,
wood
I
stove.
was
That
like-
was your chore.
that was my
when we got
chore.
home from school.
It was. That was my chore.
So I mean, I think we're making these kids feel like they're incapable. Because I mean,
we're
think about
enabling
it
it.
the other way too.
You mean
like,
we're enablers?
yes, like our
think you're right.
parents. Sometimes I think it's not so bad we grew up Gen X because our parents made us have to do those things. They made us independent.
They did. Yeah, they did.
They made you independent.
Yeah, well, you didn't have a choice. They weren't coming home till 5, and if you were
Like, it
hungry,
wasn't
you better
coddling.
learn how to make something for
Yeah.
yourself,
You were, yes.
right? And honestly, I remember us not having microwave. You remember not having a
Yes.
microwave?
Yes.
So, I mean, you had to put stuff in the oven and the stove, and then we got a microwave, and that changed a lot because then you could do something real quick. But I remember that. I remember not having microwaves. I remember, we didn't have a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Whereas today, that, with everything that this generation and the young kids have now, it's just unbelievable. But I think you're right. I think we enable them. I think it's a combination, meaning we enable them because we're just too tired and exhausted to put up with the fight. We don't want to fight.
Well, and I don't think like the school system should have to recognize this dysfunction. If you're if your kid's a Furby, fur baby,
Furry.
what are they?
Furry.
Furries.
Furries.
We got Furbies. Furbies were a thing.
Furbies were a thing.
Fur babies.
I remember furries.
I think that was
do.
a thing too. And then we got kids acting like furries.
Furries. So I guess I almost thought, like, when I heard about it, I was like, well, maybe it's like a PETA thing, like identifying like cruelty to animals, and like,
No, it's just a fucked up thing.
it is a fucked up.
It's a
thing.
mental thing.
It is fucked up.
It's like seriously.
It's like they want to belong to something, so I'll just pick that. I'll wear a tail. Yeah, what the fuck?
Insecurities? Well,
I
I can't
don't
be an
know.
insecurity. I mean, you're walking around like
I
a
don't know.
goofball.
Yeah, people are gonna stare at you.
And then you're going to wonder, why is everybody staring at me?
Yeah, you're hurting
well,
my
that's
feelings.
Why you're walking around with a big tail and you're 16 years old.
With a 4-foot tail sticking straight out.
I mean, come on. Or you just want attention because you're not getting enough hugs at home.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe they're not getting enough hugs.
I hate to say it, but have to you have to kid up.
Get up.
Kid up, man.
I'm surprised we don't see some of them riding those horsey poles around.
I remember them.
The horse
little
head
pole
on the
with
Giddy up. Giddy up. Right?
I remember them. Holy shit,
Identify
I had
as a
one.
horse.
That's animal.
As a cowboy.
Yeah, right? Oh, that goes with like the litter boxes in schools.
I don't believe that.
I hope not.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I want a picture.
No.
If anyone has a picture
on.
of a litter box in a high
If any
school,
board of education allowed that, they all need to be committed. How's that?
they need to be fired. Yeah.
I mean, that's stupidity.
Yeah, so if anybody has a picture of a litter box in a school,
We don't have rules in
send that.
society. It becomes chaos.
Right?
We got to have rules.
Yeah, so like why would a school allow someone? I don't think they should allow them to wear like a tail in there. There is a dress code. You remember that?
A lot of schools have.
Didn't you get sent home one time because of how you were dressed?
No, I never did.
Did you have friends?
I don't know. I know my daughter's friends have some of them.
See?
But honestly, or they knew of someone in school.
So
that
there's
got
a
sent
dress
home.
code. So
But
you
you
think.
know, a lot of these schools have uniforms, and I am all for it.
Oh, I am too.
Because you can't see.
For public schools?
You don't
Yes.
know who's coming from the good family and who
Nope.
can't afford whatever. I believe that there should be uniforms, and I know my kids would be like, no.
You know who should make them?
But you know, they dress like, a lot of them dress like just not good.
I know. So here's what I think. So I know this for a fact. So like your prison systems, they make clothing for all the inmates.
Yeah.
It's a uniform. The jeans, T-shirt. They could do the same thing for all the public schools,
A lot of them do.
right? So
When you go in towards the city, a lot of them
they should all be in a uniform.
have uniforms.
They should. Everyone.
When we lived down in Florida, Kylie went to a school that had uniforms.
What would they have to wear?
They had, and you could get the uniforms at American Eagle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it, like khaki pants or?
Yep. Shirts, and then they sold stuff. They had a school store that sold it.
Did they?
Like a lot of the stores down there, Aeropostale was like that. They would carry at school time. They carried all the stuff for the kids, the local kids, to go in and get their uniforms.
That's a great idea. Like I don't know why our schools where we live don't do that. They should do that. They should put them all in.
Because then they can't be themselves.
Oh, that's stupid.
It is stupid. It's about education. They're in there to learn.
Yeah, and and it's a true thing. Like your classes will separate. Like meaning,
I mean, who's complaining about it?
Your neighborhood kids will.
The kids are going to complain. Too bad. Guess what? Parents saves you a ton of money.
It does.
Not having to buy tons of
school clothes. Oh my God!
Clothes.
If I had the money back I spent on school shoes for Noah.
Yeah.
Because every time I went, it was $150 for a pair of shoes for him.
And if you can't afford to get, I mean, you got to have clothes for your kids no matter what. But I'm sure like they have grants or things to help, financial assistance to help.
I would hope.
With some people too.
Yeah.
For the people who do need it.
Oh, they need. Yeah, I agree.
I'm sure that this has got to be all set up with schools in the inner city and things like that already.
I would think they already have.
But I mean, I think it's a good thing. I wish that they did it here.
Yeah, I do too.
They dress in their school colors.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm all for it. Like polos, blouses.
The only people who are going to complain is the kids.
What is it? Polos for the boys.
So really, parents, it's a good thing.
Yeah, either polos for the boys and girls, or blouses for like the girls who want to wear like a blouse but like an emblem.
Well, they did it for safety reasons.
Gangs.
Too in Florida, yes.
Big gang thing,
because of guns and everything else.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Weapons.
So that would eliminate.
It eliminates the big baggy clothing.
Yes.
Yes.
And it would also eliminate furry culture.
Yep.
Furry culture would be gone.
And that way everybody's treated equally. They're all dressed the same. They're all equal. There you go in a nutshell.
I agree. That should happen.
Yeah.
And it should be across the country.
So that leads me to believe, that picture of the girl in the mall leads me to believe then that she goes to school somewhere and acts like a fur baby all day.
Whenever she's meowing or I don't know what.
I would do that to my kid. My kid, oh, sure, go ahead, wear that tail to school. Oh, did I tell you I'm taking you to school today? Meow, 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 meow. Have a good day. Meow, meow, mommy loves you. I would.
I wouldn't even buy it. I'm sorry. I'd be like, you have to get that from your mom. I'm not buying that shit. I'm not buying you a fucking tail. It's never going to happen.
Well, I wouldn't buy it either. I'd say
that's not happening.
Figure out how to get your own tail.
Yep.
And then if they wear it to school, that's what I would do.
Yep, I wouldn't.
Thanks again for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button and become a resident of the mountain. Thanks again.